Hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
Babe, what business do you need?
No doubt that she drove the final nail into this movie's coffin. She probably drove the final 2 or 3 nails into the coffin.
Yeah, right there. Zoom in right there. That's it. 163,000 rating, of which it got 1.6, not out of 5.
Rachel Zegler thought she was untouchable until reality slapped her straight out of the fairy tale. One arrogant rant. And Disney's entire Snow White campaign collapsed now. Tickets are being given away for $0 because no one wants to see the princess who trashed the legacy that made her famous.
I'm a narcissist.
Now the audience believes it. But just so Rachel knows, Hollywood does too. Studios aren't pulling back because of hate. They're pulling back because of her own words. She didn't get canceled by some agenda. She canceled herself. And the industry, they're watching her spiral quietly, brutally, and making sure she never gets this kind of platform again.
For a very long time, it seems that nobody has quite captured the public's disdain like our girl, Rachel Zegler. The damage had been done.
So let's get this straight. Rachel Zegler went from being Steven Spielberg's Golden Girl to headlining a show where tickets cost less than a sneeze. Not discounted, free, as in $0. As in, come watch this mess for the same price as breathing air. And no, this isn't some random flop. This is a career demolition in real time, handcrafted by Rachel herself.
Love you. I love me. I love you. I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and it is I have to pretend like, oh God, I love you.
Let's roll the disaster tape back to 2020. Hollywood couldn't stop drooling over Rachel Zegler. Steven Spielberg handpicked her out of 30,000 hopefuls for West Side Story. She was hailed as a prodigy, a once-in-a-generation talent. And for like 5 minutes, maybe she was. She even snatched a Golden Globe at just 20. Talent, check. Hype, check. Spielberg's golden stamp, locked. Then Disney stepped in like, here, Snow White kid, tone, screw it up. And oh, she screwed it up spectacularly.
At this point, she sort of feels like the poster child for it. What's really interesting is that Zegler's fall from grace has been a very satisfying watch for plenty of people.
Well, she did mess it up. In just 3 years, Rachel Zegler went from Disney's Golden Girl to Broadway's Charity Case. Imagine being so publicly disliked, so chronically insufferable, that your show gets slapped with a pay-what-you-want tag. That's not art. That's damage control in a glittery costume. It's like she tried to cook up a Disney legacy and torched the entire kitchen instead. But hold up, we're not even at Snow White yet. Let's rewind to where this train actually started derailing. West Side Story. Yeah, the one critics couldn't stop praising, while audiences gave it the cold shoulder. How bad was it? A $100 million budget, and it limped to just $76 million worldwide. That's not a flop. That's a financial faceplant with jazz hands.
Snow White just bombed at the box office again. How the hell did that happen? You've heard of a movie flopping at the box office, but have you heard of a movie flopping at the box office twice in 2 months?
And what did Rachel do after West Side Story tanked? Did she own it? Did she accept the flop with grace like a true professional? Of course not. She doubled down and blamed white audiences for not showing up, because clearly the failure couldn't possibly have anything to do with, oh, I don't know, people being sick to death of woke remakes being force-fed to them, right? Nope, couldn't be that. Had to be racial privilege. Her words, not mine.
But it wasn't sincere, because she's had a long history of saying woke, annoying things. Our new Snow White.
And let's talk about that fake Spanish accent. Girl doesn't even speak Spanish, yet suddenly she's rolling her R's like she's auditioning for Telemundo. Even actual Latino fans were like, can you not? It was performative, forced, and downright embarrassing.
So for the life of me, I don't understand why she's insisting on pronouncing Spanish words
and names with a Spanish accent that she doesn't have in a language that she doesn't speak. Puerto Rican Maria, Latino, Latina Maria.
Aim the interviews. Oh, the interviews. Rachel somehow decided that every press tour needed to double as her personal TED Talk. She started dissecting West Side's story like it was some college thesis on post-colonial identity. Someone should have reminded her that it's Romeo and Juliet with dance battles, not a dissertation. Then see.
Anyway, in one clip, she calls the Sharks, the rival gang of the Jets in this new version of West Side Story, a rainbow of the Latino community, and then struggles to name what constitutes Latino diversity.
But West Side Story? That was just the warm-up act. The real show, the one that torched her entire image, was Rachel Zegler's kamikaze-style destruction of Disney's Snow White. Where do we even begin? Instead of promoting the film like a normal rising star, Rachel marched into interviews like she'd just aced her first gender studies midterm. She didn't just shade the original, she called the 1937 classic outdated, dumb, and sexist. And the prince. You know the guy who risked it all to save Snow White with a kiss? According to Rachel, he's a stalker. Yeah, the man who literally saves her life. Now labeled a walking red flag.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
But Rachel didn't stop there. She kept digging. Proudly declared, this Snow White doesn't dream of true love. She dreams of leadership. Because clearly, what every 6-year-old girl wants in her fairy tale is corporate ambition. Forget magic, forget wonder, forget the prince and the happily ever after. We're getting PowerPoint presentations and feminist manifestos instead. Enchanting, right? Nothing says Disney magic like a lecture on glass ceilings.
Not a bug. And before long, her trashing the original pieces of the adaptations that she was performing in became kind of common.
And what happened next? Chaos. Absolute chaos. Disney fan forums went into meltdown mode. Reddit exploded with threads like, and this is a real one. Rachel Zegler is destroying Disney with her mouth. And the panic wasn't just online. Disney itself started freaking out. They quietly yanked her from merchandise campaigns, delayed the film's release, and kicked off what fans are now calling the Rachel Eraser program. You know your career's in free fall when the same company that cast you as a literal princess starts acting like you never existed.
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
I'm a narcissist.
And just when you think it can't get any worse, oh honey, it absolutely does. Welcome to the part where Rachel Zegler basically tries to cancel half her audience. Flashback to 2020, she jumps on Instagram and types out this gem, F. Donald. Trump made Trump supporters never know peace. Yep, that's a real quote. And just like that, she didn't just lose Disney fans. She alienated half the country. Let's not forget she works for Disney, the brand that sells magic to suburban moms and nostalgia to theme park dads. And here she is, throwing curses on Instagram like she's Regina George with a Twitter account and a grudge.
So she came out and took a large dump on half of the country. Everyone who voted for Trump, I remember her words.
She hopes they know no peace. Or
Right,
something really,
and that Trump knows no peace.
But of course, she didn't stop there. Rachel doubled down on TikTok like she was campaigning for Most Unhinged Influencer of the Year. She posts, bold as ever, vote Kamala Harris. It's non-negotiable. Then follows it up with, if you disagree, I don't need your business. You don't need their business? Are you sure about that, Rachel? 'Cause your box office numbers are begging for mercy. Your ticket sales, they've flatlined harder than your fan base. You might want to reconsider needing someone's business? Before you end up performing Snow White in a Starbucks parking lot,
I just think it is terrible. She's been brainwashed into believing that Trump is this hateful figure, and to combat it, she released a bunch of hateful messages that said she hopes that Trump supporters never find peace and that Trump never finds peace.
And of course, those comments went viral. But not in a, wow, she's so brave kind of way. More like a, did she seriously just say that moment? Even liberals were side-eyeing her. Because there's a difference between having an opinion and launching a full-scale verbal war on your own audience. Meanwhile, Disney, silent, not a word, not a tweet, not a whisper. But if you understand PR, silence isn't neutrality, it's strategy. As one insider put it, that's code for, we're working on making this disappear quietly. And just like that, poof, Rachel Zegler started fading from the promotional world faster than your favorite discontinued cereal.
The man's already been almost assassinated twice, so maybe check the rhetoric. So I attacked her, and then she came out and she said, I apologize. Like, I went too far.
Here's the best part. She did this all by herself. No scandal, no leaked tapes, no secret expos. Just Rachel, a microphone, and an Olympic-level talent for bad decisions. This wasn't Hollywood turning on her. This was her handing Hollywood the scissors and then standing perfectly still while they cut her clean out of the frame. Rachel Zegler's career went from Spielberg's darling to Broadway's clearance rack in record time. She had the crown, she had the moment. And she yeeted it into the dumpster like it was poisoned. And the worst part, still acts like she's the victim.
She's an asshole. That's number one.
You called her a pig?
She's a pig.
So Rachel Zegler thought she could fix her crumbling Hollywood rep by running back to the stage. Old move. You know, after torching Disney, alienating half of America, and treating every press interview like a political rally, you'd think she'd lay low, recalibrate, maybe even reflect. But nope. Rachel looked at the flaming wreckage of her movie career and said, let's take this chaos to Broadway, because apparently nothing screams fresh start like dragging your drama into live theater where there's no edit button, no PR filter, and no place to hide.
And for a lot of people, the progressiveness in them felt quite forced. But a lot of Rachel Zegler's initial stupidity really could have just been chalked up to being a young person and growing up in a very, very politically polarized period of time.
She somehow landed the iconic role of Eva Perón in Evita at the legendary London Palladium, a role once owned by Patti LuPone and Madonna. Big shoes, bigger expectations, and at first, there was buzz, excitement, hope even. But then, it nosedived straight into public humiliation. These tickets were going for $500 a seat. $500. For that price, you would expect a vocal masterclass, a performance you'd tell your grandkids about. Instead, you've got Rachel Zegler, serving up what might be the most bizarre stunt Broadway's seen in years.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
So picture this. You shell out a small fortune, dress up, show up to the iconic Palladium Theater, and wait for that legendary moment. Don't cry for me, Argentina. You're thinking, here it comes. The chills, the power, the spotlight. Wait, Rachel's not on stage. Where is she? Oh, she's on the street, literally singing to the fans outside the theater. Not joking. She walks onto a balcony and belts the song to the crowd, standing on the pavement for free, while you, the actual paying audience, are inside watching the whole thing on a TV screen. Yes, you paid $500 to watch a grainy screen like it's 2003. And you're borrowing your cousin's bootleg DVD. Memes popped off instantly. My favorite, paid $500 to watch Rachel Zegler through a monitor. Peak Broadway scam. And they weren't wrong. P felt robbed. Nobody signed up for a concert simul. Cast, this wasn't theater, was a poorly directed TikTok experiment.
She's dumb. But maybe she'll learn. You know what? Whatever I called her, it worked.
And the mess. Oh, it didn't stop with Evita. Not even close. That same storm of chaos was brewing during Snow White 2. Disney allegedly began doing the unthinkable, editing Rachel out of the very movie she was headlining. Let that sink in. You're cast as Snow White, the title role, the face of a global fairy tale, and the studio is quietly trimming your screen time like you're some background extra. But it didn't stop there. Marketing posters scrubbed, merchandise gone, store displays wiped clean. It was like she never existed. Not a downgrade, not a demotion. This was exile. Disney didn't just back away. They erased her like a misstep they were too embarrassed to admit.
You see, the movie opened on 4,200 screens back on March 21st. It did $42 million domestic opening weekend, and then it fell off by a significant 66% the following weekend. Over the next 7 weeks, its theater count would dwindle to just 310 screens.
And just when it felt like things couldn't spiral further, they did. Producers of Evita finally broke their silence, and what they said. Brutal. They regretted casting her. Not behind closed doors, not whispered in back rooms, publicly. They claimed they had to reshape the entire vision of the show to fit Rachel's creative direction. That's producer speak for. She hijacked the production. And not in a visionary artist way. This is a logistical nightmare. Way Rachel didn't just miss the moment, she bulldozed through it, dragging everyone with her. 2 massive opportunities to career-launching platforms. Both imploded into PR disasters. But if you think that storm stayed on stage, oh sweet summer child, buckle up. Because offstage Rachel is somehow even more unfiltered. Let's rewind to one of the most spectacularly toned-up moments of her press tour. Her appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Rachel decided to tell this story, and it's a doozy. She shares how, while exiting a Chili's bathroom, a drunk fan sang Maria to her. A sweet nod to her role in West Side Story. Did she laugh? Smile it off? Say thanks? Nope. She told Kimmel it ruined her night so badly, she left the restaurant. Entirely. Let that sink in. If a harmless tipsy compliment at a casual diner wrecks your evening, how are you surviving Hollywood? Because, spoiler alert, Chili's isn't the problem.
Cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power.
And that story, that was just the appetizer. Because Rachel Zegler kept serving cringe on a silver platter. Shortly after the Chili's meltdown, she launched into another viral gaffe. This time, complaining about fans asking to take photos. With her at Disneyland, the literal home turf of the brand she was headlining. What did she say? She admitted she had to pretend to like people who asked for selfies, mocked their excitement, framed genuine admiration as an inconvenience. Yes, the same fans who bought the tickets made the memes and supported her rise. She dragged them publicly. What kind of Disney princess dunks on her own supporters? Apparently, one who thinks humility is optional. For someone cast as a fairy tale icon, she sure made magic feel like a burden.
New and improved Maria, who was just this multi-dimensional character rather than this kind of black and white individual that I think a lot of people remember from Carol Lawrence's performance or Natalie Wood's performance.
You'd think Rachel could save face with a little charm. Wrong. Even her humor came off cold, distant, dismissive. One critic called her delivery off-putting. Another said she sounded entitled. Which honestly might be the kindest way to describe her entire public image at this point. Her interviews didn't land, her jokes fell flat. Instead of winning audiences back, she pushed them further away. Every time she opened her mouth, the internet flinched. What should have been quirky and lovable felt like PR malpractice. And instead of a redemption arc, Rachel Zegler was writing a how-to guide on alienating fans at record speed.
She also comments on how great the team she worked with was, which is very nice, but she also emphasizes that she isn't hyping up the film just to win awards, which feels like a bit of a weird thing to say.
Of course I want to win awards, I'm a human being.
And the audience noticed. Not with anger, not with outrage, but with exhaustion. They started checking out quietly. No hashtags, no boycotts, just disinterest. She doesn't even like being Snow White, fans whispered. So why play her? Because when your job is to sell a fantasy and all you do is complain, mock, and act like you're above the story, people stop showing up. It wasn't just a marketing problem. It was a magic problem. Rachel Zegler made the fairy tale feel like a chore. The wonder was gone. The escapism broken. And audiences, once curious and hopeful, chose to spend their time elsewhere. You can only lecture your fans so many times before they tune you out completely.
And I for sure could be wrong here, but it absolutely makes you sound like a little bit of a jerk.
And the
Then
audience
came the tears. Literal tears. Rachel cried during a standing ovation at one of her Evita shows. And instead of applause, the internet gave her side-eye. People didn't buy it. Comment sections lit up with accusations of fake emotion. Achie's acting again, one said. Another called it damage control in real time. The moment that should have been a triumphant redemption arc turned into another PR disaster. This wasn't about talent anymore. Rachel can sing, she can act, that was never the problem. The problem was always everything else. Her attitude, her mouth, her inability to just read the room. She turned every stage into a soapbox, every interview into a lecture, and every fan into an afterthought.
Snow White did just that.
You know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
And here we are watching someone who was handed every golden opportunity somehow fumble it all. One mic, one quote, one balcony stunt at a time. No one forced this downfall. She curated it. She crafted it. She delivered it like an artist unveiling a masterpiece of self-sabotage. Let me know when you're ready for the next round, because we haven't even gotten to the part where Hollywood officially stops calling. At this point, you'd think Rachel Zegler's phone is ringing off the hook with apology offers, studio deals, maybe a sweet Netflix comeback series. Nope. Welcome to Hollywood jail where you're not canceled. You're just forgotten. It's like the industry's way of saying, we're not mad, we're just done. Rachel's not blacklisted in some dramatic public scandal way. No one's dragging her on live TV. She's not being chased out of restaurants. But behind the scenes, studios have stopped picking up the phone, that red carpet, rolled up and locked in the closet.
And as her media career grew, her interviews just got weirder. Weird.
Even Disney, the studio that used to plaster Rachel Zegler's face on every poster, has joined the silent protest. Her version of Snow White. Erased. Like literally erased. Try finding toys with her likeness. Merch, gone posters. Vanish.Disney. Stores, radio silent. It's like they collectively went, oops, and slammed the undo button. And this isn't just a casual pivot. It's brand-level ghosting. When the House of Mouse stops promoting you, you're not just out of the castle, in the moat.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it. All right, congrats, Rachel.
And now the only thing circulating. A rumor that Rachel Zegler might be cast as Maria in The Sound of Music. Oh, because that is exactly what the public was begging for. Rachel Zegler singing The Hills Are Alive with the same smug energy she used to call the prince a stalker. Even before a trailer or poster has dropped, fans are groaning. They're not excited. They're bracing for impact. That's how deep her reputation spiral has gone. The PR disaster hasn't even happened yet. And people already want a refund. What's wild? How enjoyable her downfall has become to the public. Not because people love failure, but because Rachel made it so easy. The arrogance, the finger-wagging, the endless press disasters. She practically handcrafted her own fall from grace. Do you ever watch someone walk straight into a rake and then blame the ground? That's Rachel. She's not the villain in a fairy tale. She's the cautionary tale. A walking, talking lesson in what happens when ego drowns out empathy. Hollywood didn't betray her. The press didn't invent the backlash. Fans didn't wake up and decide to be mean. Rachel did this. With every smug interview, every polarizing post, every moment that screamed, "I'm above this, Roland, probably you too."
What made you want to step into this world of DC heroes? I needed a job. I'm being so serious.
And if you think this story is going to end with a Cinderella-style comeback, think again. Let's look at the scoreboard. Spielberg discovered her. She landed the lead in West Side Story. She won a Golden Globe at just 20. She was handpicked to be Disney's Snow White. And then, she went on a one-woman mission to alienate every single group that ever rooted for her. She told fans she hated the movie they grew up loving. She called fairy tale princes stalkers. She mocked romantic love. She mocked political opponents. She mocked the very fans who put her on the map. She rolled her eyes at nostalgia, and when she got called out, she didn't reflect. She didn't apologize. She doubled down. Every single time. Her public image isn't bruised, it's unrecognizable. A fall this thorough doesn't need scandal. It just needs a microphone and no self-awareness. Rachel didn't get canceled by Hollywood. She canceled herself. And now, she's the cautionary tale studios whisper about when casting the next big thing. She had the crown. She threw it in the dumpster.
Snow White is called Snow White in this version of the film because, of course, she is not white as snow, is because she and her family go through a snowstorm and survive the snowstorm, and so it's a mark of her resilience. And now
her shows flop, her movies get delayed, her interviews go viral for all the wrong reasons. Her tears on stage, met with suspicion. Her name in trailers is being tested like it's a marketing disease. There's no comeback campaign. No hashtag Revive Rachel. Movement. Just silence. The one thing Rachel Zegler never quite mastered. This wasn't some evil studio conspiracy. It wasn't an internet smear job. It wasn't haters, trolls, or cancel culture. Rachel Zegler built her own platform and then used it to shout everyone away. Instead of building a community, she built a wall. Instead of becoming a role model, she became a warning label. Her presence used to light up premieres. Now it gives PR teams nightmares. Rachel Zegler's fairy tale. It's not being rewritten. It's over.
At this point, what had become quite obvious and evident about Rachel Zegler is that despite whatever media training she may have had, she's very good at alienating not only her viewers, but just viewers in general with everything that she says and every social media put she makes.
Gosh, I saw well, we didn't even see, but I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, Snow White's up there, and I cried my eyes